Introduction to Spreadsheets, your tutorial to learn how to use Microsoft Excel and to learn the basics to enable you to navigate the screen. Listen, pay attention, and follow all instructions. Okay, young people, Introduction to Spreadsheet. In front of you, you see a grid of cells organized in columns and rows. Your columns go from top to bottom and are identified by the letters of the alphabet, and your rows go left to right, identified by numbers. The intersection of a column and a row is called a cell. The cell that we have highlighted has the black border going around it, and we also call this the active cell. The active cell is the cell that you will select, and then if you start to type, whatever you type will go into that cell. This active cell has a unique address, just like you and I. To identify this address, you go look at the column name, which is D, the row number, which is 6. So this cell that we have highlighted is cell D6. Also, if you will go to the name box, take your mouse pointer and rest it to this little box area above the A, you will see where it tells you this is the name box. And the name box identifies the cell reference or the cell address of the active cell. So if I were to select this cell right here, the address, the cell reference or the cell address in the name box changes to E5. There are 3 types of information that we are going to enter into this spreadsheet in this class. We are going to enter labels, which are words, values, which are numbers, and formulas. In the next tutorial, you will learn more about formulas. This is the end of Tutorial 1, Excel Basics, on your quest to learn more about spreadsheets. Formulas Tutorial 2, as we continue to learn more about spreadsheets. Okay, young people, we have a spreadsheet in front of you with names of students and their grades for math, English, computers, and business. We want to find out their total and their average for each student. The first thing we need to do is select where we want the answer to go. So for John, we want the answer to go in cell F4. And remember, the active cell is the cell that has the border going around it. The first thing in all formulas is equals. We want to add John's 4 grades together. And if we were doing it in math, we would do 98 plus 78 plus 78 plus 67. But in Excel, we use the cell address and not the number that's in the cell. So we do a formula, we type in equals, we take our mouse pointer to John's first grade and select it by clicking once on your left mouse button. Notice that the cell address appears in your active cell. Since we are adding, we put in the plus sign because we know that's the symbol for addition. Then we go to John's second grade and select it with our left mouse button. Notice that the cell address appears within the active cell. Then we need to put the addition symbol and continue this process until we have selected all the cells with John's grades. Take a look at the formula. It has equals B4 plus C4 plus D4 plus E4. This is going to add all John's grades together. We press enter and then our answer appears. Let's do the same process for Sharon, remembering that the first thing in every single formula is equals. We take our mouse pointer and select the cell that we want to add. Then we do the addition symbol and we continue this process as such. You can also type this formula in, but it's much easier using your mouse pointer. Press enter and there's your grade. Let's do this again. and press enter, and there's your grade. Equals being the first thing in all formulas, we take our mouse pointer and select each grade that we want to add together. We press enter, and there we have our answers. All these cells have formulas in them. Now we need to find the average. How do you find the average of these four classes? Okay, you are correct. Some of you got it right, some of you guessed the wrong answer, but what you need to do is you need to add the four grades together, which we've already done, and then we need to divide that total by 4. Since we already have it, first thing in all formulas is equals. Take the mouse pointer to the total, and we divide that number, and the / is the division symbol, and we need to divide it by 4. And that's our answer. Equals being the first thing, let's do it for Sharon. We select Sharon's total, / 4, and press enter. Equals the total, the / divided by 4, and press enter. Equals is the first thing in all formulas. We select the total, the / and divided by 4, and press enter. In this tutorial, you learn how to add cells together, and you also learn how to find the average. In the next tutorial, we will look at multiplication and subtraction. Now reach the end of tutorial 2 on formulas. You are on your way to learning more about spreadsheets. Tutorial number 3, formulas, subtraction and multiplication. Formulas, your tutorial number 3, where you will learn how to multiply and subtract. We already know that the first thing in all formulas is equals. In this example, John in his math class has been asked by Miss Tucker to multiply 34 times 97. In Excel, we use the equal sign. We would use the cell address of the number 34, which is C5, and we will multiply using the asterisk, which is Shift 8 on your keyboard, by cell address D5. And if we press enter, it will give us the answer, 3,298. Let's try that again. If I wanted the answer to appear here in F5, first thing in all formulas is equals. The cell address for the number 34, as we are multiplying 34 by 97. We click on that with our left mouse button, and notice that the cell address, cell reference, appears in your active cell. We use the multiplication symbol within Excel, which is the asterisk, which is Shift 8 on your keyboard, and then we take the mouse pointer and select the next cell that we want to multiply and press enter, and we get our answer. John also has a subtraction to do. If we want our answer to appear in this cell address, first thing in all formulas is equals. We take the mouse pointer and select the first number, because we are going to do 97 subtract 34. So it's going to be equals C8, that's the cell address of 97, minus is your minus symbol, 34, and the cell address of 34 is D8. And then we press enter, and our answer appears as 63. Now let's try this in a different location, because you can put the answer anywhere in any cell on Excel. First thing in all formulas is equals. We take the cell address of 97, which is C8, minus the cell address of 34, which is D8, and we press enter. The reason why we use the cell address and not the number in it, because the number could change. Let's say I change 97 to 120. Notice your answer will change when I press enter. This would not happen if we used the numbers that were in the cell. Let's say I change 34 to 100. Notice the number will change. 20. We use the cell address and not the number within the cell because the number in the cell will change. But since you have a formula where you want your answer to go, it will always work it out for you. That's one of the powers of spreadsheets. So you now know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide using formulas. I've now reached the end of tutorial 3 on formulas. Welcome to tutorial 4, where you will learn all about the Autosum button. Okay, young people, welcome to tutorial 4 on Autosum and also using the fill option. We will also look at the screen again. If you look at the mouse pointer in F6, let's have a look at that. Your Autosum button is to the top right hand corner and your fill option is located just below that. Let's move to the left. You have your home option, and that's where we can find the Autosum. You have your insert, where we can select insert a chart and some other things. Page layout, where we can change the margins and the orientation of the page. Formulas, where we can select formulas. So make sure that you are on the home menu option first before we look at Autosum. Now with Autosum, the first thing in all formulas is equals. Then we want to add the 4 classes together. For John, we select his first grade. Notice that the cell address appears. We select the plus and we continue the process as we learned earlier. There should be a review. Look at the formula, we're adding 4 numbers. Now what if we had more than 4 numbers to do? There are quick ways to doing that. Now we have in cell F5, we want to add the numbers for Sharon's grade. If I take the mouse pointer and go to the Autosum button and click on it once, notice that the Autosum button will assume that I want to add the numbers in the cell just above cell F5, but that is not correct. I want to add the numbers for Sharon, so what I do is take my mouse pointer, click on Sharon's first grade, and then drag to Sharon's last grade. And notice that your marching ants are going around Sharon's grade. Notice something else. Within your active cell, you see equals sum, open bracket, B5, colon, E5, close bracket. Sum is your function, which we will learn more about later, and your range of cells that you are adding is B5, colon, E5. That's mean all the cells between B5 and E5. Let's press enter. Let's try that again. Let's take our mouse pointer. We have our active cell as F6. That's where we want our answer to go. Take our mouse pointer to the Autosum button and click once. Now Excel has it correct. In fact, we do want to add Carlton's numbers. We press enter and then we go back to the Autosum button and notice that now it's gone off a little bit. It wasn't paying attention like I've said to do all the time. We select the numbers that we want. We press enter. Let's continue doing this by selecting the Autosum. Notice how Excel is trying to guess what you want to do, but you know better than Excel. Make sure you are selecting the Autosum button. And let's do this a little slower this time. Follow the mouse pointer button above column I to your Autosum button. Click once. Excel is going to highlight what it thinks it wants you want to add, but in this case it is incorrect. We select the 4 numbers for John. Then we move our mouse pointer to the Autosum button and select Sarah's grades. Press enter. We go to the Autosum button and we select John's grades and press enter. Now that is a quick tutorial on the use of the Autosum button. Successfully reached the end of tutorial 4 using the Autosum button. Tutorial 5, the fill option. We're getting more into Excel and some shortcuts, and you will learn how to use the fill options to shorten your time when you are using Excel. Okay, welcome to tutorial 5, using your fill option. Within Excel, whenever you have a lot of formulas to create, Excel has some special features to make it much easier for you. Right now we see a class of, let's see, 9 students and their grades in 4 classes, and we want to find the total and also the average for these students. Remember, before we did your formula, so we did equals, we did the cell address for each of the grades, and we added those cell addresses together. And remember, we did that because we wanted to add whatever will appear in those cells. So let's look at the formula. Equals B4 plus C4 plus D4 plus E4, and then we press enter. Now if we were going to do the cell address, not the cell address, the formula, yep, that's right, the formula for Sharon, we would do equals B5 plus C5 plus D5 plus E5. And if we would do the formula for Carlton, it will be equals B6, C6, D6, E6. If we would do it for Allison, it will be equals B7, C7, D7, E7. Now, do you notice any patterns? Your cell formulas, or your formulas, are relative. So this formula is relative to the one before it, in that the thing that changes is the row. So it's going to be row 5. For Carlton, it will be row 6, row 7 for Allison, row 8 for David, row 9 for Sonia. So whenever your formulas are relative, meaning right under the one above or the one that you last put in, you can always use the fill option. To use the fill option, you first put the formula in the first cell, and you want to fill that formula into the other cell. So what we do is highlight those cells where you want to put your answer, take your mouse pointer to the fill option, click on it once. If you are going to fill down, you select down, right, you select right, up, and left. In this instance, we want to fill the formula in that first cell down into the other cells. When I click this once, it will automatically put in the formulas. Voila! Your answers appear real quickly. And if you notice, once I click on it, look in the formula bar to the top of your screen, and you will see your formulas. Equals B5, C5, D5 plus E5. Keep your eye here as I change the active cell. Notice that the numbers increase, but B, C, D, E remain the same. So remember, when the formula is relative, you can always use the fill option. Now let's try the average. Remember, when we want to do average equals, we take the total and we divide it by the number of grades we have. In this instance, we have 4. We press enter. I take my mouse pointer and I highlight the cells that I want to fill that formula down. I take the fill option, click on it once, select down, and there you go. Here are my answers. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is your fill option. Remember to always use it when you can, because it makes your life so much easier. We've come now to the end of tutorial 5, using the fill option. Functions, tutorial number 6. You are learning more and more about spreadsheets. You know why? Because you are listening, following instructions. But first you started to pay attention. Functions. This tutorial is going to teach you how to do functions instead of using formulas for total, average, max, min, and count. These are the functions that you will use in this class. Let's select F4 and make it our active cell, because that's where we want our answer to go. We need to go to the formulas menu item and select the Insert Function option. The Insert Function dialog box will appear, and we need to look for the sum underneath of the Select a Function title. In this little window we see the function sum. This sum function, as it lists right here on the Insert Function dialog box, adds all the numbers in a range of cells. So let's click OK because that's what we want to do. Then we need to select by highlighting the numbers that we are working with, and in this instance we are adding together John's grades for math, English, computers, and business. Then we need to select OK. Your answer will appear. Let's try it for Sharon. We first select F5 to make that active. We go to the Insert Function option. Your Insert Function dialog box will appear. Sum is already selected, so we just select OK. Then we highlight Sharon's numbers. And remember, only select the classes Math, English, Computers, and Business. Do not select total. Also notice on the Functions dialog box, it will give you the numbers that it's adding together, and it also will give you the answer. Select OK. Now let's move to the average. Select G4, make that active. Click on the Insert Function dialog box. In your Insert Function dialog box, we need to find the average function, and it's listed right here. And it says returns the average of its arguments, which can be numbers or names or arrays, but we are doing numbers today. Select OK because we do want to find the average. We do the same process of selecting the grades for John, and remember, only select his Math, English, Computers, and Business grade. Release your mouse and then click on OK, and the answer will appear. If you want to check, you can use your calculator. Let's try for Sharon. Select the Insert Function box. Your Insert Function dialog box will appear. Average is already selected. Click on OK, and then we will select the numbers we are working with, and then we click on OK. Let's repeat this process for Max. Max will return you the highest number, and if we look on the Insert Function dialog box, in the area Select the Function, we will see Max. Below that, it tells you what it will do. It will give you the highest number within the range of cells. Click on OK, and when I say range of cells, I mean the cells that we are working with. In this instance, it's B4 to E4, and those are John's grades. Click on OK, and it will give you the highest value. You can double check by looking at the grades. Let's try that also for Sharon. Now let's try that for Min. Min will return you the lowest number within that range. We find Min on the dialog box. It returns the smallest number in a set of values. Click OK, and then let's select. And we are only selecting the 4 class grades. And you can double check by looking to see if it did in fact give you the lowest number. And let's continue and do Sharon's. Now let's do count. First, selecting where we want our answer to go, click on the Insert Function option. Your Insert Function dialog box will appear. Now there are times when the function will not appear in this screen on the Insert Function dialog box, so you type it in this area. If you write count and select go, it will bring it down in this area. So count is what we want. It counts the number of cells and the range of cells that we are working with. Click OK, and then let's highlight only the class grades and press enter. Let's do that for Sharon. And we've used functions to calculate the grades. Functions work faster than formulas, and they are very useful if you have a large number of items that you're working with. If we had 20 classes, it makes it much easier to use a function instead of using a formula. Now let's fill down these formulas. If we highlight the formulas going down as I have done, we go back to your home menu item. As you learned in the previous tutorial, click on fill, select down, and you see your answers will fill down into the cells below. So let's continue that for each of the options that we are looking for. There you go. Now for this column here, your averages, we need to fix the decimal place. We don't want any decimal places, so if we take our mouse pointer and go to the number ribbon, if you rest your mouse pointer on this button, it says decrease decimal, or you can increase your decimal, but in this instance we want to decrease our decimal, so click once. For this instance it's not doing anything, so let's click on increase, because it's going to put all the decimals with 1 to 2 decimal places, and then we can reduce your decimal places. Okay, well done. That's your functions. Remember, your functions that you're going to use in class is total, and the function for that is sum. If you look up here in the formula bar, equals sum, open bracket, and inside the open bracket is the range of cells that you're working with, and then close bracket. Average, the function for average is equals average. Max equals max, and you're also working with the range of cells. Min equals min. Count equals count. You can always type this information in here. You don't have to go to the function dialog box. You can type equals count, open bracket, take your mouse pointer to the first cell that you're working with, and then you can select the last cell. So this gives you the range. Close your bracket and press enter. As you get to know it, you can type a lot of this stuff in here to make it faster for yourself. Well done. This is a lot of work that you are learning, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next tutorial. You see how dangerous you can be when you follow instructions. Listen and pay attention. You have now reached the end of tutorial number 6. Yes, we are increasing your chances to succeed. Okay, inserting a chart, tutorial 7. We're closely coming to the end of learning Excel, and I hope that you are very confident in using Excel. It's a very powerful tool that you can use not only in computers or business, but you can also use throughout your career here at Cedar Bridge Academy. And also when you leave Cedar Bridge, you can also use Excel. It's a very powerful tool. So do enjoy the rest of this tutorial, and I believe we should have one more after this one. Inserting a chart. Let's see. Here we have the spreadsheet that we've seen before, so it should be a little easier for you. We are going to learn how to insert a chart. A pie chart, a line chart. Let's see what are some of the other charts that we can insert. Column, line, pie, bar, area, scatter, or other types of charts within Excel in Excel 2007. Okay, let's say I want to add a chart for John's grades. I first have to select John's grades, and let's put it on pause because I see something on TV I want to look at. Okay, back. I don't really need to hear that. Okay, let's do a chart for John's grades. I need to select John's grades. Then I need to go to Insert, which I've already selected previously, and let's say I want to add a pie chart for John's grades. I click on John's grades once, and I select the type of chart I want. Let's say I want a 2D chart or a 3D. Let's try 3D. Click on it once, and the chart appears for me. Notice it has different colors, but what are the colors talking about? I don't know if it's his math, English, or his science grade. Let's click on it once and let's delete that. Let's go back and let's highlight John's name, and the classes that John has and his grades. Let's go to Insert. Let's select the pie chart again and select the type. It's going to be 3D. And this time, notice that John's grade is highlighted. And also it gives you the color for math, the color for English, and the color for computers. So that's a graph that you like. But we want to move this chart out of the way, out of our spreadsheet. So let's right click on the chart, click Cut, move your mouse pointer down here to sheet 2. Actually, let's make this empty because I was using that for another tutorial, because I want to make it quicker so I won't be fiddling like I am now. And then I do paste, and in this instance we click on the paste and notice that your chart appears. Okay, if I want to, I can come down here where it says sheet 2, right click on that, select rename, and type in John. Now let's go back to sheet 1. Take our mouse pointer and click to sheet 1. Now I want to do a graph of only the females. So I first select the name, math, English, and computers because I want those totals, those names to appear. Then I move my mouse pointer down to Sharon. I hold down the control key on my keyboard, that's the CTRL key, click, and then drag across to select Sharon's math, English, and computer grades. I keep my mouse, I release the mouse pointer, but I keep my finger on the control key. Then I find another girl, Allison. I use my mouse pointer, click, and I select Allison's grades, keeping down my finger on the control key. I did something wrong just now, so I need to start all over again. Try not to make a mistake, because you would have to start all over again like I had to. And sometimes it gets a little irritating. Now let me focus a little bit more, because I am looking at TV and trying to do this at the same time. I know I tell you all the time to listen, pay attention, and follow instructions, and I didn't do it just now. See what happens? Okay, now I have all the females' grades selected. I go to Insert on my menu item, go to my, let's do a bar chart. Let's do a column chart this time. Click on it once. Let's see what type of column graph I want to do this time. Let's do the first 3D column. Click on it once, and voila, Sharon, we have her grades listed there, her math grade, her English grade, and her computers grade. Allison's, Sonia's, and Sarah's. Right click on this chart because we want to move it. Be careful where you select them. We want to right click on the chart to cut, to move it out of the way. Go to sheet 3, and we want to paste it into sheet 3. Wonderful. Now let's go back to sheet 1 and let's do a chart for just the male's grade. So let's select your name, title, your math, English, computers, and then let's go and select the male's grade by holding down the control key, taking your mouse pointer, and selecting the grades for the gentleman. And we will do it as so. As you see, Barack, you get up in here too, bud. John, and also Joe. I wonder if it's Joe the plumber or Joe the Biden. So then I go to the Insert menu item, select Columns, select this first one, and then we have another chart for the male. Let's click and select Cut. go to sheet 3, and we want to insert the male's grade right next to the female's grade. And you see how this information looks interesting. When moving charts, be very careful. As you see right here, I've selected the actual chart itself, but this is the box that holds the chart, and we want to move that around. So side by side, I have the information for the females and for the males and what their grades are. Let's see who got the highest grade in the class, as people are very interested. Oh look, John and Barack. Barack must be studying hard, he does. Okay, so that's inserting a chart into your spreadsheet. Remember, you can insert any type of chart. You can do a column chart, a line chart, a pie chart, and so on. Now, let's say I want to insert only the name and the average for each student. I need to first select the name of the student, hold down the control key, select the average, and then repeat that step for each student. It's a long process, but this will give me your average for each of these students. And we can show this in a pie chart to get an indication. Or actually, no, let's not show it in a pie chart. Let's show it in a column chart. So where do I go next? Insert, yes, you are correct, and go to column, select the first one, and then look, here is your average for each of the students. The names are listed nicely down the bottom, your average on the left side. Now what are those axes? Now I ain't gonna lie to you, I gotta look that up because I kind of forgot just now. So let's cut it, go to sheet 3, and let's scroll down a little bit so we can put this information below the current graphs that we have. Select paste, and here is your average grade. Now this works best for those of you who are like me, who like to see something visual, a picture. It makes the information come to life and looks a lot easier. So there you go, the end of tutorial number 7. You learn how to insert charts within your spreadsheet, and congratulations, you have paid attention, you've listened, and yes, you followed instruction. Now you should be able to finish activity 3 and activity 4 within Excel. If that is not your class, then you are able to finish some Excel assignments. Am I sounding a little bit familiar? You have now reached the end of tutorial 7, where you learn how to insert a chart onto your spreadsheet. Intro to Spreadsheets, tutorial number 8, a basic review. Intro to Spreadsheets. You have columns going top to bottom, rows going left to right. Cells are these little grids here, these little rectangles. Cell reference is located up in the name box, which consists of the column heading and the row heading. When we are doing entering in information, if we enter in words, those are called labels. If we enter in numbers, those are called values. If we enter in something like this, equals B4 plus C8, that is called a formula. If we enter something like this, equals sum, put in a range of cells, like so, that is called a function. If we take our mouse pointer button and we go to the Autosum button here, we can automatically add some numbers together, as you see. Excel thinks I want to add the 98, the 0, and the 0. It gives us the function equals sum. The range of cells is C4 colon C6, and you have to put the range of cells within the brackets, and I'm sorry for the little noise there with my headset. Then I press enter, getting some letters mixed up there, and it gives me an answer. Now let's say I want to fill this formula down into the cells right here. I first highlight the cells and I go to my fill button here, click on it once, select down, and I select the formula down. Now it's telling me it's a circular reference warning. Basically it's telling me I can't do that, you can't do that. So what do? I just say okay, no problem, you ain't gotta shout. And it gives me some options of helping out. Remember, in Excel you can always move your mouse pointer to this little question mark, and that's your help option. So this little arrow is telling me that I'm got it wrong and it's all that, so I'll just leave that alone for a little bit. So remember, you want to always do the correct thing so you can get it right. Now, so let me put some numbers in here so I can just review charts real quickly. Let's say I want to chart these numbers. I first select them, go to my insert menu item, select the chart that I want. Let's say I want to scatter, because right now I'm just scattering all over the place. Click on it once, select, whoa, look at that one. Let's try that one. And then it gives me something that looks like that. But that didn't make any sense, so let's click on it once and hit delete. Let's say I want to insert a different type of chart. I can select, let's see, a area chart. Click on that. Let's do something that looks interesting. Ah, look at that. That looks like John McCain's numbers going down. Okay, let's try something else. Excel. Okay, so you think you learned a bit about Excel? Wonderful. You can do more in Excel. I encourage you to go and have a look through Excel and see what you can do. Click on some buttons, see what it does. Remember, you can always select undo, the undo arrow at the top here, or you can do Control Z with your quick keys. Okay, this is the end of your tutorials for Excel that we need in class. I encourage you, as I said earlier, to learn more and go further. But for now, I'm going to sign out. This has been a Fogo File production, one that will help you to learn Excel. Tutorials have been a Fogo File production, bringing you spreadsheets right here at your fingertips. Make sure you have listened, paid attention, and followed all instructions. We have increased your chances to succeed. At Cedar Bridge Academy, where excellence is valued, we cultivate Bermuda's achievers.